It's springtime. This is my favorite time of year. Just visually, it is so exciting in the permaculture orchard. We get flowers happening on the ground. We get flowers in the rows. We get flowers in the trees. We got a diversity of blooms. We got the birds singing. This is smorgasbord time. I mean, this is abundance of cues that are pleasant. We got dandelion or dandelion, depending where you're from. Maybe you've seen my dandelion video. We have some. Look, here's a good patch, a big patch of dandelion. And you think, gee, I thought we're not supposed to have any dandelion. We can have some. We still look at it as an indicator. Indicator, in this case, look how thin the grass is here. I mean, I see soil. That's thin enough for dandelion to come in. And the reason that it's thin is because we've got some big trees. Here's two big apple trees that now we prune them heavier, but they were thick enough that they created a shady area. Here's another big apple tree. This is the remnants from the old organic orchard. And so we left some of the better trees, but because it's shady, we get dandelion. Hey, maybe it's been a while since you've seen one of our videos, and I want to give you an update on the farm, give you an update on the channel, the YouTube channel, and give you an update on the Masterclass. For the farm, it's like it doesn't get much better than this, other than if you walk and eat from the trees and the shrubs. That is super pleasant as well, but I love this time of year. It's lovely. It really is amazing. I wish you were here, but you can have something like this. This is what the whole point of the YouTube channel, the Masterclass, is to help you get this for yourself. And you think, well, yeah, but you don't have, this is just 1 acre here, but you can have this in just a few trees. You can have something like this in your yard. If you have room for 6 trees, which is 2 trios, you can have this. You can have a mixture of trees. So here's an Asian pear next to a honey locust, and here is an apple tree. So that's a trio. There's a kingbird singing and a house wren. And the diversity is key. And that's why I called it the permaculture orchard, because permaculture is all about diversity. I mentioned that this used to be an organic apple orchard. Just apples. There's 4,000 apple trees in this orchard. And it just didn't work. It didn't work as an ecosystem. You didn't have the diversity of birds. You certainly didn't have a diversity of insects like we have now. It's a windy day. Oh, here, look, right there. That's one of the small orchard bees. And so there's just so much variety because the orchard is designed to be diverse. I'm amazed that this Asian pear is looking so wonderful. I mean, every tree, you know, to everything there's a season, and every tree has its few days. This is the few days. If you look, there's a few petals. So this is probably the last day because petals are starting to fall. The color will drop, but this tree is gonna be loaded. Can you imagine? You can't have all these flowers giving fruit because the tree breaks. It literally will break. We've had them in the past. The tops will break over because they can't hold the weight of fruit. You can have something like this at your place, in your yard, maybe in your country place, maybe your front yard. I wish you could. I wish you could experience it. The smells, we just walked by an apple tree. Not all the smells are equal. Apple are so sweet in bloom, but the pear's not as lovely. And there could be things to eat. You know, literally here, we put in some rhubarb. This is a really nice rhubarb. Not all rhubarb are as nice to eat, but these red cultivars are sweeter. No rhubarb is sweet. You can use rhubarb as a replacement to lemonade, to give you an idea. But this isn't, you know, oh, it's so sour. No, it's not. You can eat these. And see, I don't even get a sour reaction. A little bit. They're not sweet, they're just not as sour. It's certainly nice to have. We've been eating different greens for a couple months. Not a couple months, what are we, mid-May? So we've been eating greens since early April. Onions are among the first to emerge, chives, garlic chives. They're actually getting ready to flower already. Things go fast. It changes quickly. Onion mixing with the rhubarb. Hey, we've been, just give you a few of the updates. This week I set up the irrigation is running. It's automated, so I don't have to, once it's set, it's just set for whatever schedule I put. And so it can go on automatically. We just did, 2 weeks ago, we shredded all the branches. So we end up with almost like a wood chip mulch in the aisles. That's really nice. I no longer have to carry branches out. So that saves a lot of work and a lot of time. The whole goal is now the orchard is in really low maintenance. In the beginning, it can be a lot more work. Planting is a lot of work. Getting it going, mulching to make sure the trees can get going and all the plants get going. But once the trees are at this stage, they're fully mature, they're fully productive, all the plants or a lot of the plants underneath are in, then it becomes really low maintenance. And that's one of the keys. You don't want to have to be working at this like crazy. We've got about a little more than 5 acres replanted now, and I calculate it takes one person day a week of work to maintain it. And that's including our vegetable garden. And so it's not that much work. You think, well, but I work full time. Okay, full time is what, 5 days a week, 4 days a week, depending who you work for. But you can do this in one day of the weekend once it's set up. And it is more work in the beginning. And you're seeing blooms on the trees, but what you're not seeing is blooms on all the other things. So here, for example, gooseberries. I love gooseberries. They're my favorite small fruit, and they're so easy to grow. I don't know why people aren't growing more. Rhubarb and gooseberry, like, please consider them, get some, start them, try them. And there's many, many types of rhubarb, cultivars, varieties, whatever you want to call them. Just try a few, put a few in, put them under your tree. These have to be under a tree. You don't want gooseberries out in full sun. So they're blooming. The bees are in here, and it's windy today. But when you come out and it's early morning, late afternoon, gee, I could just hear. The other day I was walking by when I was doing irrigation, and you literally have to stop in front of a tree because you could hear the buzz going on. And the buzz is just all of the bees. And this is one tree out of a few thousand. So if you get that many bees in one tree, could you imagine how many bees are benefiting from our orchard? We're gonna do a video just on bees, and there's so much to give you about the bees because this can absolutely transform life for bees. I mean, I've seen it. I saw when we had an organic apple orchard, and it was not this. It was not as diverse. It was not as alive, really not as alive. Let's cut through here and go and check out this area. Maybe you've seen, and check out, we got playlists on all kinds of topics related to the permaculture orchard. Here's a couple of trees that we did over grafts. And that's where this was actually grafted here and here. And now, look, this is, I think this one is 5 years after it was regrafted. Like, it's been producing for 2 years. So it starts to fruit usually in the 3rd year after overgrafting. But you can take, you say, I have a pear tree, or I have an apple tree or a plum tree, and it's not doing good, it's not producing well. You can get a little piece of branch like this and graft it on. Watch the videos, you'll see it's not that hard. And I've taught hundreds of people how to graft, and the most common reaction is, once they've done it, they go, that's all? That's all there is to it? Yes, it's so surprising, the reaction, because you think it just seems so complicated and mysterious, but when you do it, you realize that's not that hard. I call it a peasant technique because all peasants in the past knew how to graft. It was just one of the things you grew up with, watching people do it, and so you started to do it. It's not that complicated, and if you want to change a tree over to something else, go for it. It's not, look, you can't really kill the tree doing it, because if I grafted and I really messed it up and the grafts don't work, the tree will simply send out. And see, this one's already sending out, see? It'll send out new growth from the base. And you can wait till these get a little bigger and graft onto them. Just try it. It's, you know, it's a lovely time of year to do it. Just practice, do a few. Do them on a branch, do them in something like this. And just see, is that gonna work? Is it? And you'll be amazed. Once you get one to work, and figure in the beginning you might get 30 to 50% success, meaning 3 out of 10, 5 out of 10. And that's for a first time, that's very good. And it's usually just related to how long it takes you. Try it, practice it, do it. And then next thing you know, you'll go, you know, we have only one tree, but it would be nice to have an early pear, a mid-season, and a late-season pear. And you can. It's not that difficult. Warbling vireo, if you heard that one. That's what you'll get. You'll get so many more birds. Wow, he's really singing loud too. Here's one of my favorite spring ones. Especially, we had a little bit of a ground frost this week still. And these just get sweeter. They get tastier if they just get a little touch of frost. The best of the year is in November. So this is a sorrel, a non-flowering sorrel. And they're really nice. So it's nice to kind of walk around, look, smell, listen, graze. And you look at something like this and, look, here's a new tree coming up. I could dig this up and I can expand. This is a plum tree. Wow, it's moved far. That's from the other row over there. And its roots come all the way here. So this I could divide into 3 plum trees. Next thing you know, oh, I got 3 more trees. Once you get started, once your orchard gets some momentum, then you almost, honestly, we're at the stage now where we have to hold it back. Hold it back, otherwise there will be trees coming up everywhere. Some of them are reseeding, some of them are suckering, but all those trees, all those suckers or water shoots, whatever you want to call them, they could all be more plants, expand, grow more. Gee, here's one easy one. This, for example, is, oh, the dog was in here digging, so she stirred it up. But I see a whole bunch here of seedling, they're really rooted well, seedling garlic chives. And I mean, I could get a few thousand garlic chive plants just from a few plants that I let go and they spread the seeds. Once you get going, the momentum starts. And some of the trees are not going to be doing so well. This one isn't doing so well. The woodpeckers have really been at this one. Dead branches. And we did the first pruning of this block last fall. And we pruned, if you want to see the video for pruning for access, all we wanted to do was clear space. This orchard block, we're trying a technique where it's no pruning. Yeah, you heard me right. No pruning. We're not pruning this block. We do cut a few branches and in some cases cut a few trees, simply because this one, I showed you an overgraft. This is an overgraft. This is a branch, a big branch from this tree, which is actually a rootstock, an apple rootstock. We grafted on it, and we put 3 grafts, and 2 of the 3 took really well. So we cut the tree, which now is, we don't want that tree, we want this tree. So this is becoming, we have some more we can clean out. Don't want to clean everything out in once, but pruning can take some work. So we're trying, can you even reduce the work? And when I think of this block, I think, man, I mean, we're harvesting as much as the block that we're pruning, and we're not pruning. So it's even less work. Maybe if you don't want to prune, just understand a little bit about training. Maybe check out our pruning course, pruningcourse.com. Once you start and you learn the basics, and these trees, a lot of them were not even trained well or trained at all. So there's, you know, I look at this one and I think there's a whole bunch of branches on here, a whole bunch of trunks that are not following the rules that were laid out for a tree that's pruned. But it's not pruned. It's not going crazy. It's growing differently. It's growing very vertically, but because it's never been pruned, it produces branches all along that are going to produce fruit. So rules are made to be broken. What's one of the rules you may have heard of in an orchard? Well, you put all the same tree, right? No, we try not to have 2 of the same species touching. Well, there I have, because I have one of them's a rootstock and one's a grafted tree. But here, you know, we have our support species, honey locust. So the honey locust is doing not great, this one, but it's doing well. But we use the honey locust or the nitrogen fixers or the support species trees because they don't produce fruit. So what do? We put fruit on it. In this case, grapes. So this is, I'm pretty sure this is a Somerset grape. And so it's growing up on the honey locust, and it will eventually basically make this a giant trellis for grapes. That's a rule that's broken. Having 2 different species in an orchard, that's a rule that's broken. Having shrubs underneath our trees, in this case, fruiting shrubs, and here's red currant. You're not supposed to have that. Having chives, here's garlic chives again, under the trees. You're not supposed to have that. You're supposed to have an herbicide strip. No! There's so many practices that, well, I can say, to me it doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense to be killing things so that you can supposedly get more of these. But at what cost? We haven't fertilized any of these orchards for 15 years. We still get very nice harvests. We've had so much harvest some years that it's thrown off our production, so we tend to get every second year production. So they're biannual, a lot of these trees. But I think the amount of work, it's great if you have a yard, if you have a small property and you don't want to be spending so much time doing this, then break some rules. Do it differently. You have to have a little bit of conviction. You have to not be afraid of what people will say. Maybe you go, yeah, well, I don't know, because if I do this, people will say, well, what are you putting two different kind of fruit, or a fruit and a tree that's not even a fruit tree, in your orchard? Just go, well, I like to break the rules. I don't have to follow what supposedly is the way to do this. And you can even have trees. Here's one completely died this winter. So that's all right. What happens? I didn't cut it down because it wasn't even dead last fall. But now, see the shoots? This is a shoot that the tree often feels that it's on its way out, and it produces its own replacement. I can overgraft this now. Would be a good time to overgraft and recreate that tree. Are you getting it? Are you getting the smell? Too bad, eh? Oh, I could just linger. The wind is blowing across here. Gee, see, you can enjoy this. You can have this if you do the work in the beginning. You do a little bit of work. Trees live a long time. You can have this tree in here for easily 30 years. Depending on the rootstock, it could be 50 years. It could be 100 years. So you do the work once. It's not like a garden where every year you have to restart. We come in the spring. We have to deal with the branches that we pruned. But other than that, it's going. And it's going without continual effort every year to get it. In fact, it gets better every year. There's plants that are reseeding themselves that we don't even have to. You start the system, and then it just gets better and better and better. Each of these trees has a story to tell. It has a bit of character. I can remember grafting this one. It took well. There wasn't big overgraft. I had a big tree with a branch, overgraft, and now we have something else. So you can start with whatever condition it is, with whatever situation it is. Just to give you a quick heads up, for the YouTube channel, we're changing it up a little bit. We call it our audience. The people who, if we say permaculture orchard, you go, yeah, I'm there, I'm with you. Gradually, we'll have less videos specific to the permaculture orchard. We'll film here, we'll show you, but we'll be doing less teaching about the permaculture orchard going forward, because my goal is I just want more people to experience this. And how do we do this? We get more people who didn't even know this is possible or it existed to decide, this makes a lot of sense. You know, we have a space, we have a few fruit trees, we can do this. So we're looking to expand the audience to get people who just have a little bit of space to start something like this. If you're already deep into the weeds about it and you go, yeah, I know what it's all about, and I've watched Walkabouts and I've watched your videos, gradually we'll be shifting more of that content to a membership site, and we'll be using more of them to augment the almost 23 hours of videos that we put into the Masterclass. Like, I haven't been doing many YouTube videos because we've been so deep into the Masterclass. It's been a monumental job to do, but it's done. Once it's done, now we have some room to breathe again to get more videos out. And so we know who, if you know who you are, if you say, yeah, I'm so interested in the permaculture orchard, then stay tuned. There will be more information, but it will be more specific to you in a different place sometimes, because I want to interact more with you, and oftentimes I just can't physically respond to all the comments, engage with you, do Q&As with you specific to the permaculture orchard. So stay tuned. There will be more announcements about it. If you're interested and you go, well, yeah, I'm really ready to go, then look up the masterclass, permaculture.study. And that's where we have the start for the masterclass. And go see, there is 11 courses on all the topics. And I'd say ideally get the whole course, because it is meant to be a one unit. Because if you take one part of it, you'll understand that one part, but you may not understand how it fits into the whole, like an ecosystem. You can take an apple tree like I had, and you just have apple trees. It's not a really functioning ecosystem. So the course, the masterclass, is meant to be a functioning ecosystem. It's meant to give you everything you need for the whole picture, and then you can apply it, or apply it already and just complete your understanding of the whole picture. You want just a specific course, you can do that as well. And hey, you know what, to me, I don't care how you start, as long as you start. Because look, I know we had the monoculture apple orchard, and it was 15 years of doing that before we replanted. And I already knew in my head what I wanted it to be, but it wasn't. So I understand that sometimes you put it off. I was learning about apple trees. I was learning about orchard, but I hadn't applied it because basically it was hard to want to pull out an orchard that's producing. And I go in depth about it in the masterclass. I should have taken another piece of land and started. It would have been simpler. I didn't. Listen, I've made so many mistakes. And that's what I really want to share with you, so that you can get started quicker. You can experience this sooner with less mistakes. And please don't think making a mistake is terrible. Making a mistake is wonderful if you learn from it and adjust, but it can cost. I know I've sunk tens of thousands into mistakes. There's a beautiful native bee that's smaller than a bumblebee. It's an orchard bee. Anyway, they're all here having things like oak trees in the orchard. Why? Well, it's a nut tree. We can have fruit trees, we can have nut trees. And basically, I just really want you to get going, to get started, to get the most people excited about doing something like this for your health, for your sanity, for the whole family. I mean, you can enjoy something like this, and it doesn't have to be this large. Just start. Start by going to permaculture.study. Start by subscribing to the YouTube channel. Check out the videos. Check out the playlists. Get inspired, get going, get planting, and I hope to see you showing pictures of the progress of your permaculture orchard.